we delve into one of the most remarkable stories that highlight the justice of Islam and how Muslims adhere to the principles of their faith even in moments of conquest. It's the story of the conquest of Samarkand, a city that witnessed one of the most awe-inspiring chapters of Islamic history, when a Muslim judge ordered the army to leave the city after conquering it. At the beginning of the 8th century, the famous Umayyad commander Qutayba ibn Muslim led the Islamic army to conquer Samarkand, a city in Central Asia. Samarkand was a major cultural and civilizational center, and the Islamic conquests were governed by strict rules outlined by Islamic law. 1. Accept Islam and join the faith. 2. Pay the jizya and remain under the protection of the Muslim state while keeping their religion. 3. If they refused both options, then battle was permitted. However, in the case of Samarkand, the Muslim army entered the city before the 3-day grace period had elapsed. This hasty action led to discontent among the local population, who felt that their rights under Islamic law had been violated. Despite the military success of the Muslims in capturing the city, this action sparked a complaint from the city's inhabitants. But here lies the greatness of Islam. Even in the face of victory, justice prevailed. The people of Samarkand brought their case to the attention of the Muslim leadership, appealing to the principles of fairness and justice that Islam upholds. When the matter reached Caliph Umar bin Abdul, he did not ignore their plea. Instead, he ordered an investigation, sending the judge Qutayba ibn Muslim to assess the situation. Upon reviewing the case, the judge found that the Islamic army had indeed violated the rule of giving the city 3 days to decide its fate before entering. As a result, he ruled that the Muslim army had acted unjustly and should therefore withdraw from the city to allow the proper procedures to be followed. What is remarkable here is that the Muslim army fully accepted this judgment. Despite already securing a military victory, they complied with the ruling and prepared to leave Samarkand, demonstrating their commitment to Islamic justice above all else. This display of integrity and adherence to Sharia law left a deep impression on the inhabitants of Samarkand. This clarification highlights the importance of respecting the rules and guidelines of Islamic conquests, such as the 3-day grace period. The fact that the Muslims were willing to rectify their mistake, even after capturing the city, shows the strength of Islamic ethics and the high value placed on justice. This unwavering commitment to justice won the hearts of the people of Samarkand. Seeing that the Muslim army would sacrifice their military victory for the sake of justice, many of them voluntarily accepted Islam, recognizing the moral superiority of the religion. The story of the conquest of Samarkand is not just about military strategy, but about how Islamic justice and the adherence to Sharia law played a crucial role in shaping the ethics of war and conquest. The Muslim judicial system at that time ensured that no individual, no matter how powerful or influential, was above the law, not even a victorious army. This adherence to the principles of fairness and justice is what distinguished the Islamic civilization from others. Even after a successful conquest, the rule of law was paramount, and it was the duty of the Muslim leaders to ensure that all actions were conducted in accordance with Islamic teachings. When these principles were followed, it set a profound example for both Muslims and non-Muslims alike, illustrating that Islam's true power was in its moral and ethical framework. One of the most striking aspects of this story is how the ruling of the judge was respected by the Muslim military leadership. Despite the strategic importance of Samarkand and the fact that it had already been taken, the Muslim army did not resist or challenge the judgment. Instead, they fully complied and withdrew from the city. This act demonstrated to the world that Muslim rulers and soldiers were not driven by greed or conquest for the sake of dominance, but rather by a desire to implement justice, even if it meant reversing their gains. The lesson here is clear. Islam spread across the world not solely through military conquests, but through the strength of its ethical and moral values. Justice, fairness, and respect for human dignity were central to every Islamic conquest. The Islamic world achieved its greatness because it was guided by these principles. During the era when the Muslim world adhered to the teachings of the Quran and the Sunnah, it became a beacon of progress, science, and culture. The commitment to justice was not limited to Muslims alone. It extended to all people under Islamic rule, regardless of their faith. This continuation rounds out the script with a deeper focus on Islamic justice, the significance of adhering to Sharia, and the lessons that can be drawn from this historic event. It conveys the moral teachings of Islam and highlights the reasons behind the success of the Islamic civilization during its peak.